what is cultural Marxism? Cultural Marxism is developing a cultural framework of deconstructionism or postmodernism to try to break ourselves from the shackles of the Western tradition so that we can embrace the nonsensical economic ideas that you believe in. That's not a conspiracy theory, it's reality. And it was written by Gramsci himself. And if you're not familiar with those writings, well, then you're not really equipped to talk about cultural Marxism. You just keep on like, conspiracy theory. Like, yeah, actually, you're wrong. Like, go to the roots.
Sure, buddy.
Sure. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Your support means a lot to us and it helps our channel out. And don't forget to stay tuned for the Easter egg that we have coming up.
Cultural Marxism is literally a Nazi conspiracy theory. Like literally the Nazis in Nazi Germany invented the phrase cultural Marxism. The fact that you're asking me about it is pretty telling to who you are.
What?
Oh, you think I'm a Nazi?
Most definitely. I mean, at this point, like, you've made it pretty clear.
Why am I a Nazi?
You're asking me questions about cultural Marxism. That's literally, like, so in case you don't know. So
let me ask you, who's Antonio Gramsci?
Okay.
Gramsci.
Antonio Gramsci.
Who is he?
Why are you bringing Gramsci into this?
No, but just tell me who he is.
The Italian socialist.
Yeah, so what phrase did he coin?
I don't know, you tell me.
Cultural Marxism.
Oh, okay.
Was he a Nazi?
Okay. No, Antonio.
Oh, so maybe it didn't come from the Nazis.
Okay, literally. Look,
so why would you say something so false when Gramsci himself came up with the phrase?
Do you know what the conspiracy theory is around cultural Marxism?
Answer
and
the
why it got
question.
so popular in Germany in the 1930s?
So let's go back to Gramsci. What did he write about cultural Marxism?
I don't know.
Letters
I'm
from
not
prison.
familiar with all of his
Yeah, you're not
writings.
familiar because you just keep on spouting out these things that call people Nazis, which is super unhelpful and not true. And so, yeah, Antonio Gramsci from prison said that Marxists must adopt a cultural framework alongside an economic framework in order to get the means of what they want to get done. That's not a conspiracy theory. Just read his book.
Okay, but that's different than the phrase cultural Marxism,
How is it
which
different?
is used. What do you mean? How is it?
It's exactly the same thing.
No, it's not exactly the same thing. So what happened is in Nazi Germany, they spread this theory called cultural Marxism. They literally had this theory that Jewish people were secretly like bringing Marxist theory into the mainstream, and literally
That's not at all what anybody on the right talks about.
Are you kidding me? What about the guy who literally just murdered a bunch of people talking about great replacement theory?
Oh, you think
You're
he's
telling me that Tucker Carlson doesn't talk about that on a regular basis?
Hold on a second. So
I watch a lot of content and hundreds and possibly hundreds of hours on the average week of content. And when I run into these kinds of arguments, especially when you have people who lean left, who accuse conservative commentators or content creators of saying things that they did not say, and many times I watch the full content and they did not say these things. It's part of why it is very hard to take left-leaning commentators seriously. They say things that were never said by people on the right, and then they expect you to believe them and say, oh, you own them. Really, this is what actually happened. Wow. And you know what? I'm not surprised that it works, because a lot of people don't have the time or the bandwidth to sit and listen to hundreds of hours of content on the average month even. They believe what certain people say. For example, Ben Carollo on the screen is he's a good-looking Caucasian man who seems like he's successful as a commentator or a content creator. I don't follow his content, but it looks like he's successful to be put on a debate stage with Charlie Kirk. And when people who don't know who he is sit and watch his content, especially when the content is cut together to kind of give an argument, and then it is put side by side with equally cut content from a conservative or from an individual from the right who they want you to dislike or to hate, and they frame this narrative, and you watch these shorts or these their videos or their content, and that's basically what you run into, and you don't have the time or the skill to do your own due diligence. Then you believe what they have to say, and so when you hear that again and again and again, especially when YouTube or other content platforms see that, okay, you listen to Ben Carollo's video, maybe you want more of his content, and then next thing you see more Ben Carollo on your timeline, especially when you have the fortune of listening to one entire video. YouTube believes, okay, they want to see more, and then they feed you more of that content. And the more you listen to people like that, especially when the content is pieced together the way I described earlier, it's hard for people who don't do their own research to actually tell the difference from when they're actually telling the truth and when they are smearing and lying about what a right-leaning individual has said or done. So this is a part of the thing that has been going on for the last few years. It's difficult to listen to people on the left, who have the practice of doing things like that and take them very seriously. When you put them in the same room with people who know their onions, like Charlie Kirk, and they begin to dance around and lay accusations. For example, he just laid an accusation against Charlie Kirk because you use this term, you're a Nazi. That is the classic leftist strategy to ensure that the person that they are debating is seen in a bad light. If they can't compete at their level, they begin with name calling and accusations and smearing with the hopes that the opponents will be shamed and run away.
First of all, the Buffalo shooter's disgusting and it's awful, and he was more of like a weird leftist than anything on the right. If you actually read what he wrote, he called himself a left-wing authoritarian, which sounds more like you, by the way, than me.
Look,
let me finish talking.
The Nazis pretended to be on the left too, buddy.
Secondly, what is cultural Marxism? Cultural Marxism is developing a cultural framework of deconstructionism or postmodernism to try to break ourselves from the shackles of the Western tradition so that we can embrace the nonsensical economic ideas that you believe in. That's not a conspiracy theory, it's reality. And it was written by Gramsci himself. And if you're not familiar with those writings, well, then you're not really equipped to talk about cultural Marxism. You just keep on like, conspiracy theory. Like, yeah, actually, you're wrong. Like, go to the roots.
Sure, buddy.
The rest of this video will be available. The link is in the show notes. You can watch the entire, the rest of this footage that I'm reacting to. So what do you think of this clip? What do you think of my reaction to this clip? This is part of why we're having the kinds of reactions or the kinds of narratives that we're seeing in mainstream media. We have people who basically spend time accusing another party of doing things that they didn't do or saying things they didn't say, and people who don't pay attention literally believe what they hear without doing their own research. So let's learn how to do our own research. Let's learn how to have meaningful conversations with people we don't agree with, and let's equally learn how to lay out arguments in a constructive way without resorting to name calling and accusations. Let me know what you think of this in the comment section below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with their positions, and please no name calling or accusations. Let's just give our facts. And if you have other videos that relate to this conversation, leave them in the comment section below.
I was born in Brooklyn, the same place where Donald Trump's family comes from. His father and my grandfather were builders together in Brooklyn. Really? Yeah. Even when he was much younger, you knew that he was going to go places. So it's no.
Senator Schumer and Mr. Trump are good friends. They both have a passion for life, and you get that immediately talking to him, that he actually cares about what he does.